What's up? How's it going? Happy Friday. It's stream time for me and stream time for you if you're watching. I don't really know what's going on. I think that there's a lot of things that I want to do today, and I'm a little bit scatterbrained, to be perfectly honest. I try to have something to say at the beginning to say, here's what we're going to do today. Right now, I'm feeling scatterbrained. Here's what I think I wanted to say that we were going to do today. So you know about execgen if you've been tuning into this stream for the last couple of times. It's this program that we use in CockroachDB, a SQL database written in Go, to produce type-specific code or monomorphized code for the execution engine, the SQL execution engine. You know that in SQL, operators need to run on every SQL type. And so to avoid having to write the same code for every type, we have a program that generates code based on some template stuff, basically. And I've been sort of working on making this a little bit more general, more useful for more things. What I wanted to do today was going to be changing this execgen compiler to be able to look at multiple files at the same time. At the current moment, it's limited to looking at a single file. So if you wanted to call a function that's type templated in this way that we can do with execgen from another file, you wouldn't really be able to. You'd have to put that template in the same file that you're calling it from. So what I was going to do today is take a look at seeing how we can fix that problem, starting with some tests and hopefully finishing with an implementation. Here's the thing, though. The thing is that I'm currently having a bit of an issue with something that I did recently. So one change that I did recently, let me put on my chilled cow music just because I like it so much. Turn this down a bit. Just some relaxing background sounds. So one thing that I did recently is I changed everything so that the generated code that I mentioned would be checked into the repository so you can look at it more easily. I like this because realistically, it was kind of irritating for people to compare the generated code output before and after it changed to either the template or the templater. And so that's gotten a bit easier. I have this PR that I did as an example. So this was sort of an initial stab, and this is going to be related to what I wanted to do today. So, but just as an example, right? So I made this change. I edited some of these templates essentially, and then you can actually look into the generated code. Maybe this is the sort generated code. You can actually look at the difference. Whereas before, you would have to check out the branch, regenerate the code, and then look at the difference yourself. So this is nice, but I think there's a bit of an issue that people seem to be running across, which is that, well, there's some like build issues, basically, where one of these files is kind of acting up and not building properly under certain circumstances. Maybe I could try to fix that up front because I have some colleagues who are telling me to. So I might try to do that before I do anything else. And so, right. I think the file in question is this big bad boy, overload test utils.eg.go, which, I mean, it's kind of a weird thing because I think a lot of these functions aren't actually used. I think, what is this for? It's a question that I have. I know that some of them are used, and it's actually a struggle to even find one that is used. But if I search for one that seems sort of regular, like maybe one of these not equal to guys, this one's not used. I don't know, I'm very suspicious for this entire thing. Maybe if I look at the actual test file that invokes these things, is it overloads test.go? Yeah, I think so. This is an example of one that's actually used, but it's odd because it's only used in tests, right? I mean, I wonder if one way to solve this would actually be to make this file get outputted as a test file, because then that would also make it clear that it's not actually used at runtime since it isn't. I think it's a bit odd. Acting up. Hey, CS Lectures, what's going on? How are you? Nice to see you again. And I like that octopus emoji. I haven't seen that one before, but oh, it's a global emote too. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal is with this, but to be honest, I just want to make this whole thing under test scope. So I'm going to do that. I think it shouldn't be too hard. I think what we'd really want to do is just edit the name of the output here. So I could call it overutils underscore test. Would that work? Or would this .eg thing confuse everybody? You were lurking in 3Cat stream and you saw me get a gift sub. Yeah, that's a fun channel to hang out in. Okay, here's actually a thing, CS Lectures, since I know that you're a Kaizo Mario fan. I did actually start playing one of these hacks the other day, Quickie World 2, which is the one that people always tell you to do if you're a noob. And, you know, I've spent maybe like 8 hours on it and beaten maybe 4 of the levels, which I think is bad because that hack's supposed to be really easy, but it's been an interesting adventure. Is that, yeah. Do you actually play these things or do you just watch them like me? So let's see what happens if I do this though. So if I type make execgen now, I think it'll rebuild just that one file, I'm hoping. Yeah, kind of an irritating problem. What I really don't know though is like, I know that Go has a special provision for this underscore test thing, and I don't know if it's going to still trigger given the fact that there's this .eg thing in the end of the file. Because I bet it's just like, is the prefix right before, or the suffix right before .go test or not? I do think that would fix a lot of issues. If this was just compiled under the tests, I think it would probably fix the problem. You play them, you started save stating through Learn to Kaizo in Grand Prix World 1, then moved on to beating quickly. Oh, wow. That sounds pretty good. Sounds like you've done quite a lot. 4 levels, 9 hours, pretty reasonable. Yeah, we'll see. It's just when you watch somebody one-shot it, who's one-shot it blind, that makes you pretty sad. But I guess it's like comparing myself to Rachmaninoff or something. Somebody said that in my chat. I'd recognize file overloads test utils .eg.go. Now why? Who's still? Let's see. Oh, it's probably in the make file. Test. Change this to utils test. Try that one more time. Yeah, so essentially I'm hoping that by the end of this, probably not by the end of this stream, but the general goal is that, you know, I don't know if you could tell, but this tool, this transpiler, it runs once per file. And I'd really like to have it run just once total and have it slurp up all of the templates, process them all together so that templates can reference each other. That was like one dream that I had for this stream, trying to start that going, because that's one of the biggest obstacles left. I mean, there's a lot of obstacles left, to be honest, but that's one of the big ones between where we're at and where we'd like to be, which is not having to do any text template stuff inside of these files. CS Lectures, do you have an alt account where you stream yourself playing Kaizo Mario? Because I'll follow you. And if you don't, the question is why. Okay, so how you do? Yeah. Are you gonna out yourself or no? Probably not. I need an exclamation point SO thing. Dr. Beardsley, what's up? I need one of these SO CS Lectures things. That's what all the cool people have, but I don't think my thing does anything for that right now. So how do I tell if a file is a test-only dependency in Go? Like, is that even a possible thing to do or not really? If I said go test package SQL call exec, it's a little bit loud. If I just did this, I mean, I know it's going to. Oh, Dr. Beardsley is the alt. I get it. Cool. Dr. Beardsley. All right, I'm gonna give you a follow. Oh wait, I'm following you since May 27, 2020. How about that? I don't know why, but I'm already following you. Okay, so some stuff is broken. Let's try with make. Yeah, so I don't know. Ultimately, I just want to fix this little problem and try to move on to this multi-file templating. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. Maybe what we could do is while this is compiling, we could start making our test file. Maybe that would be a good idea. So if I go to execgen test data, I think I would want to have sort of like a multi-file. Here's the thing. I think I'm supposed to be on a different branch. I think I have a bunch of work in progress that's not on this current branch. So let me get to that. Okay, so, and I guess I didn't delete the old file, so that's an easy thing to fix. Package SQL call exec overloads test util is the bad guy, and then util's test is hopefully the one that'll just get compiled in test scope. Only been streaming Apex recently. Yeah, you got to get back into Kaizo. I'm not gonna watch Apex. Lithium, what's up? Nice to hear from you. How's it going? You got to get back in with Vim. I agree with you. Vim is where it's at. Vim is where it's at least Vim bindings. My Vim configuration for non-text, though, is like really pretty horrible, I have to say. It's like, I don't know. It doesn't use any of the hotness. I feel like all my plugins are out of date. I'm still using like Pathogen. I'm not sure if like Pathogen is really the thing that anybody uses anymore. I feel like it's old hat. People are more about like the new Vundle stuff, maybe. I don't know. I don't even know what the new stuff is. Okay.
Everybody knows that.
Hey, Lithium, thanks for the 2 months.
Because they use
I think you might be my first, maybe my first 2 month subscriber.
And right to disk.
So thanks, appreciate that. And you gave me an emote, the Pride Pog. I like these little emotes. These Pride emotes are cute. All right, so I think I've got some. I'm all messed up. I said it at the beginning of the stream. I'm all messed up. I'm a little bit confused. I've got too much work in progress going on, to be perfectly honest. And that's getting in the way, but it's okay. We're gonna get through it. We just might have to rebase a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we deleted this test utils and we want to replace it by the same thing, spelled differently. Will it work this time? Quick update. The undergrad I'm hoping to have an installed benchmark CockroachDB is going to start next week. Awesome. This is probably more relevant to Andrew, who I'm hoping will be able to give some help on some things, but I thought you might care about the status of things. Yeah, I appreciate that. That's actually super awesome. I think, yeah, that's really exciting. I hope that it goes well. I think it'll be a cool collaboration if it does. And I think, yeah, the more academia industry links we've got going on, the better, in my opinion. We were trying to tag some of the database industry academia people earlier on Twitter, because I had this side project. I'm not sure if you guys saw it. It's this Twitch runs CockroachDB thing. It's like a REPL where you can go to Twitch and type into the chat, and it'll put those commands as SQL into a server and tell you what the responses are on stream. And so I just tried to do it sort of as a publicity joke. So we were trying to tag a bunch of people, Pavlo and Hellerstein, and they both retweeted it, which I thought was pretty awesome. So I don't know if maybe they're watching. Hello if so, but I love these collaborations if they can happen. Not so much of a collaboration as me begging for retweets, but hey, you got to start somewhere, right? Lithium says, I'm almost done with my side project. Accidentally deleted source code to repo. Oh no, that's not good, dude. But what about version control? Now you're nearly back. Once it's done, I'm going to start the next project with Go and CockroachDB. Awesome. It's exciting. But yeah, this side project thing, it's Twitch runs CockroachDB. I think that's the URL. I want to do a blog post about how I set that thing up too. It's pretty funny. It's just like a Windows VM running in GCP that has OBS on it. Source code and repo. Yeah, exactly. Not too good. Not too good. Okay, so that all works. I guess the question, I still don't know. How do I figure out if this is just a test dependency? I have actually no clue. Maybe I can just Google it. Golang test only dependency. See, it's not a Go modules question. I really just want, like, it's like, where is this underscore test convention documented, you know? I kind of think this just .eg thing is just gonna break it, to be honest. Yeah, you know what? You know what I'll do is I'll just I'll just have it be called not eg, and that'll just confuse everybody. But it's but that's gonna break a bunch of other stuff, unfortunately. I don't know. This is such a dumb problem to have. You worked on it stealth and by myself, and I tried to add it to a private Git repo, and then I ran git clean muscle memory before initial commit. Yeah, that's it's not too great. Recover from Docker images. Well, that's I'm impressed. I mean, I think that's impressive for sure. So I don't think this is really going to fix the problem. Okay, so here's a good way to test it. Actually, I think that if I were to introduce a thing that doesn't compile into this file, overloads utils test.eg.go. So let's say I didn't make this compile by like putting a bunch of crap in it, like this. This is going to not compile. And the question is, if I just run make build package, or I guess go build package SQL call exec, if this fails, it means that, I think it means that that isn't a test only dependency because of its .eg suffix. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, I suppose we could just like look a little bit more holistically at what the deal with this file is. So the test that it's actually used for is what? What is this exactly? I guess it's just testing a bunch of actual properties about some of these generated. I just don't get what the point of this is, because this code is generated just for the test. So to me, it doesn't really feel like it's testing much, right? I guess the idea is that since in this generator, we're inlining code from elsewhere, so theoretically it means that we're testing the same code that's inlined into the production call sites or something like that. But I don't know, I feel like that's a little bit weird. Like I wonder if it would be a little bit better if we could just make all of these tests use the projection operators that they're actually used in. So for example, this plus int 16, int 32 thing, I think this also should be present in this giant project eg.go file, probably. Projection ops. Is it called something else? Oh yeah, it's proj. Doesn't have the whole word in it. So proj, I guess it would be proj non-const ops eg.go. So I think this is going to be the file that my IDE will not be able to display because it's probably like 60,000 lines of code or something like that. Well, it does an okay job of it. But I think like ideally what we would do is find the one that we were testing here. So in this one, we're testing plus int 16, int 32. So I think there should be a plus int 16, int 32 operator. And so maybe ideally what we would have this test do is invoke the code from the operator, right? So like this code here is probably the same thing that's inlined into here, right? Result equals int64a plus int64b. And then it's got this expected error stuff. I mean, another thing that's a little bit odd is that, you know, this code has that same telemetry business that was having issues, right? The problem that I was looking at was that when you build this thing, sometimes it complains that this package is missing, package server telemetry. But why would it complain about that other file and not this one? I don't know. I'm suspicious that this whole thing is kind of a red herring and there must be something worse going on. But I don't know what it might be, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know how to fix this. In fact, I don't know how to fix this at all. I kind of think that it's got to be something else. Like maybe this file that, this is just super random. But I think the thing that actually gets messed up is when we run this make file target make generate. And make generate does a bunch of things, including run this execgen generator thing. And I wonder if it's possible that, like, since we're running these things concurrently, that they're racing or something like that. That's the only thing I can really think of. But it also doesn't make that much sense, to be honest. So I don't know I don't quite know what to think, to be honest. I think that I might just not work on this problem. Or, you know, okay, here's what I could do. I suppose I could just, like, send a PR that tries to run execgen on its own first. I don't think people are gonna like that very much. But I suppose, I mean, here's another weird thing, right? It's like, why there's nothing in these targets that I know of that would really cause the whole program to get recompiled, and that's what the failure is happening on. Like, none of these things actually require running make build or anything like that, unless this somehow does. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's got to be something broken with this make file. I saw this really good tweet the other day that says, it was like me writing a complicated what was it? Me sewing a complicated make file. It's got some curses in it. I'm not going to curse on stream, but it was a good tweet. Basically, it's fun to write a complicated make file and hard to debug it. Okay, I'm going to forget this problem. Sorry if you're watching and you're hoping to see me fix this problem, because I'm not going to fix it. I'm going to not fix this problem and go back to my original problem statement. So let's see. I think last time I was basically sitting on this branch, this go type template branch. So I'm going to get back onto this branch. I think this branch needs a little bit of rebasing itself. And I'm hoping that instead of having to... So here's a trick. I don't know if you know about this trick, but it's neat. You know how if you rebase from an old branch, it's going to, like, check out a bunch of old code and wipe out all of your build caches and stuff like that? Just because you want to rebase it? I don't want that to happen because it's going to just waste a bunch of time. So what I'll do instead is I'll make a fresh branch, cherry pick each of these things on, and then I won't have to rebuild anything. It's kind of dope. So I'm going to do new type template, new branch. I'm going to cherry pick each of these things. There's probably a better way to select each of these commits rather than copy pasting them, but I don't know it. Okay. So we've got a merge conflict to deal with, which is fine. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, so I think what happened is that I got rid of this range macro thing, which was kind of, I don't know, it just was sort of unnecessary. So I have to, basically I want to take the bottom, which is the thing that I did on this branch, and then merge in the change where we got rid of execgen.range. So I sort of go like that. Whoops. This is the sort of thing when I mean, like, I have stuff set up in Vim for Go, but it's like I don't know how to deal with it. Like, I don't really remember how to get rid of this loud window, so it's just gonna sit on screen for a while. Okay, so let's see. So for this guy, I think I want to essentially put this up here, maybe. Brohanster, what's up? Your sub expired? Did somebody gift you that sub? That is sad for you. I haven't. I want to put another emote. I have one emote, and I've got a second slot now, and I need to figure out what to put. Let's see. So I think I want to put this down here. Want to put this down here. I like doing these merge conflicts. It feels artistic. Okay, so I think I quit. I think this is good to go. It's got to be super memey. Get cherry pick continue. So do you guys who's paying attention to this this like eyes mouth eyes thing? Are you paying attention to that? Because it's kind of off the chain. Eye mouth wait lips eye. I should have actually, oh man, I really should have made this into my stream title, because I think that would be sufficiently, that would be a little bit more good. Okay, I'm gonna actually edit my stream title to include this, just to make sure that I get those Gen Zers out there looking for a little bit of eyes, lip, eye action. All right, good, good. Yeah, so I don't know. I think basically what's happening is there's some startup that like got a bunch of like famous millennial people to tweet about it. And I think what they did is there's some meme from TikTok with eye, lips, eye, and they just appropriated it, dude. They were like, this meme is our meme now. And they made their entire app about it. I think if you like go to this .fm or something, if you can like turn that into an address on your URL bar, then that's like their startup launch page. And it's like, wait, I can just go to it over here, right? Because I'm streaming. That's the whole point. Check this out. Wait, how do you do this, you know? Do I have to put HTTP? I don't know. It doesn't work for me, but oh, if I Google it though, check this out. Okay, here we go. So like, this is their website, and they've got this big button that says, give us your info on it. And that's like all there is to it. Oh man, I think it's pretty weird, but I'm into it, I guess. Okay, so let's see if our tests still work for this execgen thing, first of all. So I'm gonna run go test package SQL call execgen. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a new test file for this multi-file templating stuff. Okay, so something didn't work. What was it? I like totally forget where we left things off, to be honest. Expected this, but found this. But what's the difference? Let's just rewrite, and then we can use a diff. It'd be nice if the test outputter just gave me a diff, so I didn't have to do this. But okay, there's no diff. That doesn't make any sense. How could there be no diff, but then the thing still complained? Oh, is it because I just have like a bunch of random printf still? So it's the template file that's failing. Package SQL call execgen test data template. Wait, and which file was it that which test was it that was failing? Let's run more. I don't understand how it could be failing after running rewrite though. That doesn't really make that much. Is it flaky? Is it non-deterministic? Is that what's going on? Now it just works every time. Okay, I don't know. Oh, there we go. Okay, so So is it like something's out of order or something? Why would it be different? I kind of need to have it diff the output, you know? Maybe I'll just quickly have that differ do something. Maybe that would be the way to do it. Let's see. I think it would be called, what was that file called? Data-driven test or something like that. Test exec gen. Come on, little buddy. Test exec gen. Okay, so I think, oh, maybe it's like the whole data-driven package doesn't have support for this diffing. That could be kind of a nice improvement to do. Run directive or subtest. So this is this package that allows you to have these sort of file input-output tests that we like so much here. Now, where is the thing where we actually print out the difference? Here, okay, so if D expected is not equal to actual, so I think we could introduce some sort of diffing thing here if we felt like it. Yeah, it could be kind of fun. I think we have some sort of like test differ thing already in the repo. That was a bad idea.
Everybody knows that relational databases don't scale.
Hey,
because
thanks
they
for
use
the thank you for the gift sub lithium to Brohanster.
and write to diff.
It's the dream for Brohanster. So you're being a mensch here. Difflib. We back. We back. We back. Just like that, you know? Yeah, that is embarrassing. All right, so let's see. Get unified diff string. So I think it really should be just as easy as doing a difflib dot get unified diff string. I like the unified diff. I don't know. So is it that I can't do code insight for vendored files and libraries? Okay, so let me open up a new little window for just this thing. Do I have this thing checked out? Go get github.com cockroach db data driven. Dan Kelly, what's poppin'? The amount of Go files here. Yeah, I made you a moderator, Rohan, because I just I don't know. You're kind of my top supporter right now, and I appreciate that. You're up there, you know. You're doing a lot for the stream. I wanted to reward you with that powerful sword. So I appreciate that. Brohanser comes on every stream. You know, he's a mensch. Lithium, you're also a mensch. A lot of menches on this stream overall, I have to say. So let's see, if I open a new project here, go source github.com cockroachdb data driven. No? Is there something weird with what is a mensch? A mensch is like, it's like a good guy, you know? It's, I think it's Yiddish. So how do I make go get download something into like the Go path? Is there a new thing for that? Go help get, because I guess what it does now is it fetches it into a module. Sun's 13. Everyone's joking about Brohan. Yeah. Brohanster's got a huge network, is what I'm learning. I'm learning Brohanster's got a huge network of trolls, people who like to claim they're Facebook E8s and not be Facebook E8s. But that's cool. So, oh, it's Richard. What's up, Richard? I thought you had a different name. Have you had a different name before? So how do I get, what if I get dash u it, you know? Like, how come this doesn't attach to my Go source, GitHub, Cockroach, DB, data driven? How come there's nothing in here? I don't get this. I guess I'll just check it out myself. Or maybe if I do it out here, outside of a project, it'll work. So go get github.com, Cockroach DB, data driven. Maybe if I do it out here, it will put it inside of the Go path where it belongs. What? I don't know, you guys. Like, what's the deal with this exactly? Is this thing unfetchable? I don't know. Let's just clone it ourselves. Git clone github.com, git at github.com, cockroach db data driven. Okay, so I guess that last thing just had it work, except it just didn't really compile properly. All right, that was a major tangent. Let's not worry about this too much. It's your first Twitch account. Welcome to Twitch. What a great website. Absolutely classic website. Cockroach DB, data driven. Okay, new window. Let's make this happen. This is a good little thing to do, right? Add some diffing to data driven. You've been streaming Valorant, dude? How come you haven't told me that? That's massive. Absolutely massive. Actual. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna say difflib doesn't exist in here, huh? So let's go over here, data driven, go get github.com. Wait a minute, what difflib, Golang. You stream at 1 a.m.? Holy moly. P Mezzard go difflib. P Mezzard go difflib. We got some late sleepers here, you know? Okay, so difflib dot unified diff, get unified diff string, then we can pass in a unified diff like so. And I guess what we can do is, it looks like we have to pass in a thing per line, huh? So I guess it's gonna kind of look like this. We'll have to say, so what is expected? Expected is a string and actual is a string. So we'll have to parse this into two line by line things. So I think we can do strings dot, is there a lines? No, strings dot split. And the string is gonna be d dot expected. This is gonna be expected lines, actual lines. And then we can say A is, let's see. So I guess we want to put expected first and then actual second. This is gonna give me back a diff error. If error is not equal to nil. That is classic. Yeah, video games will really ruin your sleep schedule. It is the worst. If error is not equal to nil, I guess what we can say is t.log failed to produce diff. And then we'll just t.fatalf with this thing anyway. And you know, maybe there should be like a little heuristic, which is basically like, if the number of lines is, well, you know, maybe we could just do it always. Why not? Why not? It absolutely should, man. That doesn't make any sense. What, am I crazy? Okay, so we can say t.fatalf. Output didn't match expected, and then I can put s diff. I don't know. I mean, I wonder if this should be like a mode, something like that. And then I guess in the case of failed to produce diff, I have to put this guy. Okay, so let's see. What if are there tests for data driven itself? let's see. Go test dot. Battle Rattle, what's up? Also, thanks for the comment. I hope you're having a good day, Battle Rattle. Welcome to the stream. Okay, so let's see. If there are tests for data-driven, then if I edit one of these things to be something else, then what happens when I run the test? Well, this is not looking normal, to be honest. Because how come this doesn't have a new line in it? That's like a little weird. It's kind of odd, you know, like normally with a unified diff, this is going to be on a separate line. Who's into unified diffs, by the way? Like, I like unified diffs, but some people don't like them. Some people like those non-unified diffs. Pun thread. So maybe it's like I haven't put in the right arguments here. What if I put context 5? Diff. Wait, what? No, I think this is supposed to take in this like unified diff object, which explains headers end of line defaults to line feed. Like this get unified diff string thing takes a struct, not a string. What happened? I mean, let me just print out this diff. I don't know. Chadwick TC, what is poppin'? We're kind of so let's see. We're on a bit of a tangent. At the moment, what we're doing is there's this library called Data Driven, which is a testing library that allows you to write tests that look like this. So imagine, it's kind of hard to see, but this is actually a test file. It's saying that given the directive hello world, expect that the output should be world was said blah 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 blah. Let me show you actually a better example of this. This is it's kind of like we use this all over the place in this database CockroachDB. And I'll show you a better example, which is kind of come back. So we have this giant set of tests that's meant to test whether we're doing SQL right, basically. And you can see that this is kind of the directive. It's saying run a query. This T thing says like what the column output is. This is the query that we're running, and this is the expected output. And it turns out that like it's a little bit irritating if you have a lot of output in one of these things to try to diff like the expected output versus what's actually happening. So I got kind of fed up by that, and I'm trying to make this test runner include a diff in its output instead of just showing you what was before and what was afterwards. So that's kind of what we're doing. Do the logic tests actually, no they don't, but I thought it was just the best example. What kind of roach? Let's see, what kind of roach? Well, if I hit this guy, it's gonna tell you what I'm talking about. I hope that's helpful. Okay, so in any case, I still don't exactly have any idea The example literally adds a new line for the text in A and B. Difflib split lines? What is that? That sounds important. Split lines, split a string on... Oh, I see. I guess what the problem is that this, yeah. I guess difflib expects you to have those new lines at the end of each of the lines, and I was not making that work. Okay, so this will fix it. Thanks for that pointer. That makes a lot of sense. Veil Tret Veil, what's up? Thanks for stopping in. Keyboard camera's awesome. Thank you. Okay, so if I run these tests again, hopefully we'll see a good diff. Hey, okay, so this is pretty nice. I'm into this. This is a lot more readable, in my opinion, than what we had before, especially when there's multiple lines. Maybe what we should do is have it only print out this diff if there were multiple lines or something like that, just because otherwise it's not necessary, perhaps. So let's do let's make that happen. So I'll kind of say if expected lines greater than 5 or something, print a unified diff if there is a lot of output to compare, something like that. And I guess in this case, if error is not equal to nil, I'll still log this. And I just won't return, and I'll just fall back to this case here. Otherwise, okay, does that make sense? So if error is not equal to nil, do this. Well, how about this? If error is equal to nil, then I'm gonna print out the diff. Otherwise, I'm gonna log and continue. And then here I can just break out of this function altogether. Okay, cool. I think that's a pretty decent patch. So if I run this again, I should get the old output, right? But then if I had sort of a longer test, which I suppose I should probably make one of those. I hope this doesn't break the rewriting. That's another thing. So there's this important part of this library, which is that you can pass the dash rewrite flag, and it's going to replace what's in the test file with the actual results. I don't think that's actually going to change, right? Because all we did was mess with that fatal output. So I think we're actually good to go there. I guess what I want to do is go to this data-driven test file and add a new directive for multi-line output. So I'm going to make a new test function called test multi-line test. And the test is going to be, or the path is going to be test data multi-line. And I guess I'll do two cases, small and large. For small, I'm going to return just 2 lines of output. For large, I'm going to put like a whole bunch of output, more than 5 lines of output. And the purpose of this is to exercise this diff thing that we did. You're getting nervous thinking of starting with Cockroach TV? How come? Don't be nervous. It's a very friendly database. Okay, so if I go now to test data multi-line, I'm gonna say small, and then I think this is gonna print out just 2 lines of output like this. I think it has to look like this with these weird separators. More than 5 lines of output. Okay, so this is, I think, going to be working good. Git add 7. Okay, so I think this is going to be pretty good then. Let's make a commit for this. So we'll say git add 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's also add this. I guess there's no git ignore. Whatever. So I'm going to say data driven, or there's only one package, so I guess I could say print out unified diff for failed tests. I don't know, like when you don't have this package prefix thing, all of my commit messages, they look so sad. It's sort of like, I want like enhancement or something like this. Feature. When there's a lot of output in a data-driven test, it can be challenging to figure out what went wrong based on the output of the test, because if the failure was just a subtle difference, this commit introduces difflib for and produces a unified diff when a test fails that has more than 5 lines of output. Okay, so check out multi-line diff, git push, origin head, multi-line diff. I always forget how to get this to just work. I think I have to say git at github.com data driven. No, wait. Cockroach DB data driven. And I think my SSH keys will just make that work. All right. So let's send this PR. Okay, so now that that's happening, I think, let's see, how would I actually end up using this, right? Because the whole point is I did this because I was having a problem even figuring out what was going on in my actual issue. So maybe what I could do is just copy this entire directory into vendor for now or something like that. Let's close this out. Let's get rid of that idea thing, because there's nothing wrong with crud work. Crud work is like, it's like what the, you know, what makes the world go round in a sense. Data-driven idea. Let's get rid of that. CPA, data-driven, vendor, GitHub, cockroach, data-driven. Okay, now, if I run this test again, what will happen? Yeah, it's a good put. What the absolute heck is this? Get rid of this crap. With Gomod, can't I put the SHA and the Golang? Yeah, I probably could do that. But it's like not, you know, it's not like merged anywhere, so I feel like maybe not. It's because we run with Gomod vendor, so it doesn't let you reference stuff that's not in the vendor directory. Undefined difflib. Typical. I guess that makes sense. So I guess I would have to say go mod vendor, go mod tidy. Dude, I don't know how to make that work. Do I have to go to like I mean, this thing got an updated Go mod, right? This now has a dependency on this difflib. Pip install difflib? Yeah, exactly. Oh, it doesn't have an import. Why would that be? Wait, what? What did I do? Did I copy it into like a weird spot or something? Oh, I see what I did. Okay, let's try that again. Like, put it in the wrong directory, basically. I feel like the semantics of CP are actually kind of weird. Okay, so... non-blank line after end of double separator section? That seems like I might have broken something. I don't think we were seeing this before. But I don't see how what I changed could have possibly... Struct template. Template. Non-blank line after end of double quadruple dash separator section. Oh, you know what I bet it is that they like updated this since the last time that we used it. I bet that's the issue. Like we haven't pulled in the latest changes to data driven yet. Okay, so that worked. Now we just have to keep running it until we get one of those failures and see why. Wait, I need to run it with count 1 to make it rerun unconditionally. It's kind of weird that it was all right. Wait, why? Why is this this isn't doing the diff thing. Count 1, it's basically a thing that just forces it to rerun. Why does it do I don't know why it does the test caching. I think it's terribly irritating. Okay, so it didn't print out the diff. Would I have preferred to use a different language if it wrote it? I don't know. I think no. I like Go. Is this somehow not including? Seems to be. Is there like another section where this happens? Is that the issue? Expected. No, doesn't seem to be. Maybe it's gonna print it. Maybe it was saying failed to produce diff or something like that. Yeah, I don't understand this. What if I just t.fatal on this error if it exists? This is honestly weird because I don't get I don't understand why this diff code isn't triggering, considering that there's clearly more than 5 expected lines of code here, right? Or rather lines of file. line 178 for data driven. Claims to be this, which doesn't make any sense. Is it still like using the wrong, Oh, dude, it's because I'm not running with mod equals vendor. Ah, that's so lame. I bet, right? Guess this is why we have that make file. There we go. All right, all right, all right, all right. Okay, we're in business. We're in business. We're in business. We're in business. Okay, let us do a little bit of... Okay, so this is interesting though. Like, what does this exactly mean? Yeah, the diff is really good. But it's kind of unfortunate looking because it sort of looks like the everything's like a little bit messed up, right? Okay, let's narrow it down a little bit. So I'll say run test exec gen type template. Okay, so let's take a look at this type template file to see what we are expecting. So this function is supposed to have two types, T and a U. And the foo is supposed to be one of them, and the bar is supposed to be the other one of them. And what it looks like is happening. And let's see, where do we actually invoke C? Func C. Do we invoke C? Or is C never invoked? Kind of seems like C is never invoked. So why did I add this in the first place? I don't know. The var declaration is not just rearranged. It's like backwards. It's saying var foo int var bar bool, but then it's saying var foo bool var bar int. So it's like something's totally broken. But it's also a little bit confusing because like nobody ever calls C, which is like not really a thing. So yeah, I don't know why this is here. I'm just gonna delete it. I'm just gonna delete it. It's fine. We don't need that noise. Okay, let's run this a couple more times. Okay, right. So this is the case, right? We need to have this mod equals vendor thing, and this is exciting because like something is now definitely failing for surezies, and we need to figure out what's going on with that. All right. So the difference appears to be that this is kind of weird. This is kind of weird. It sort of seems like there's a major bug because let's see. So why don't we take a look at the actual file here? Which was the one that was actually failing, by the way? It was package main func a x equals b true 3. So I guess it's probably this guy here. And this is supposed to get turned into b true 3, and it was getting turned into some other thing that was not that, which is very suspicious, very, very suspicious, to be honest. I don't think it makes that much sense. It's quite disturbing. A black belt in Vim Jitsu? Now, it's pretty disturbing, honestly. Let me see what's in these commits, because I kind of feel like this thing needs to just be deleted. This last commit like doesn't actually do anything to the templater. It's just like a prototype of what it could look like in the distinct operator. So we can kind of ignore that one. The one before it was adding some verbose flags. Oh yeah, I remember all this stuff. This was actually super useful. Oh yeah, and there's all this. Oh man, this was so annoying actually. This stuff with like, essentially the problem was that if any of the functions had, or like the types had some of these special characters in them, everything was kind of broken. But I still don't quite know why what I was just showing on screen would have been broken by this stuff, right? That doesn't make that much sense. Like, as an example, let's see. So the diff that I've got right now is just getting rid of this sort of extraneous function, right? If I just stash this whole stuff, and then if I go back to, I guess if I just go back to master, I'm kind of curious what was inside of that file again. And I mean, it definitely wasn't breaking, right? Like, this is just sort of the most straightforward Boolean templating that we've had working for forever, essentially. Where if you call B with these true arguments, which are kind of under these things that look like runtime arguments but are actually templated value arguments, then it turns into a static call to this B true function that got created somewhere else, right? So I think like that cannot be just undeterministic, because I mean, we've been running this on CI for a long time and we haven't seen any failures there. So I kind of don't think, I think that I must have introduced some sort of non-determinism, or really not just non-determinism, but just like complete bugginess in the last couple of commits. So I guess I've got to figure out what's the deal with that. I don't like that, to be honest, because I kind of just forget like what the state of things are in this branch. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make a new branch for new type template with distinct. So I could just narrow down the issue to not that last commit. And honestly, I'm gonna check out the one before this one as well to see whether I still have the problem in the first commit, just to narrow down what the problem could possibly be here. Oh yeah, that's just this upgrade to the data-driven package biting us, but it's not a big deal. Not a true failure. Not what we're looking for. Same thing. I guess there's two instances of that in this file. I don't know why that matters. Non-blank line after end of double separator section. I don't know. Wait, what? Oh, did I edit the wrong one? That's probably what it was. This is not deserving of a new line. But the other one was. Okay, one more time. Okay, so that worked okay. And let's just run it with, I guess we can just put count 10 so we don't have to keep invoking that over and over. And I think that should flush out any non-determinism. Okay, so it did. And that, I guess, narrows it down to something that's going wrong with this first commit, which I don't. This is kind of a beefy commit, huh? So I think maybe what we could do, let's see, how are we going to figure this out? I'll get straight to the point. I found marijuana in the house. Well, I never thought of myself What is this song? I got this playlist on Spotify from it's the you know, the Chilled Cow people. But I don't know. I don't like when they have lyrics, to be honest. Okay, so why would it be? I guess what I could start doing is running with that verbose option that I added. That would probably be somewhat helpful. So let's see. If I go to my data-driven test, after my IDE finishes indexing, that is, which is always a challenge. Okay, so if I go to this, this guy, I believe that at least one of these things will have a verbose flag. Oh wait, I see. So I only added that in the commit after this one. I should probably just squash those two together. But that's okay. Arg. All right. So I have this verbose false thing. I think what I'll do is if I pass verbose true, man, I don't know why my IDE really does not like me checking out a new branch. It really does not like it. It always like lags a little bit. So if I pass this verbose true thing, I think that, let's see, and I'll pass in just this template one. Essentially, like, while changing the type template functions, I must have introduced a regression into the value template part of the code, which is quite unfortunate, I have to say. Oh, I have to use count. All right. So theoretically, I should be able to divine what's going on here based on these outputs. What I basically did is I added these debug prints that get printed out after every phase of the monomorphization. So the first thing that we do is we create template struct variants. Then we make template func variants. Then we replace template call sites. So I think I should be able to narrow down where things are getting a little bit messed up. And again, just to remind myself, the trouble is that kind of seems like the call site replacement is broken because I think we probably correctly generated sort of. I mean, even the thing that we generated here is a little bit broken. What is this file again? This file is complicated. It's this one, right? So B is something that is inlined. Wait, is it this one? I don't think it's this one. It's confusing because like different ones keep failing. Future of X. It's got to be this one, right? This is the expected output. No, this is the input. IDE like client for cockroach. I think data grip should work okay. I think if it doesn't work okay, they are working with us on making support a little bit better, but I think it does work fine. You can just use it like a Postgres basically, and I think it'll just work. I wonder if there's a problem here because of like map iteration order or something like that. But yeah, okay, so I think even the like struct replacement is going wrong. So something's going wrong very early, to be honest. It's like, Okay, so let's run this test one more time. Try to examine that output. Okay, so much output. So I guess we just sort of want to scroll until we find... Wait, did I run it against all of the tests or something like that? This is such a mess. I don't know. I feel like I've done something deeply wrong with this project. It's like too messy, too hard to understand. Wait, let's do this one more. No, okay, it is just that file. Let's just get rid of all the other test cases except for this one. I think that'll be helpful. Test templates calling each other. I think this is actually a new test case that I introduced, right? Can't remember. How come it runs all of them every time? I don't get that. I guess, oh, it's because that's a regex. That's the issue. There we go. Okay, here we go. So after replacing template structs, nothing changes, right? Because we don't have any template structs. Generated code after creating template struct variants. What does that look like? No changes, because we don't have any structs. Generated code after creating template func variants.
Everybody knows that relational databases
Yo, Lithium,
don't
thanks
scale
for
because they
the
use
gift sub
joins,
to Veiled Threat Veil. Really
join,
appreciate
joins,
that, man.
and write to disk.
You're out of control, dude. So generated code after creating template func variants. Does this look right or not? So false false says not Y, not Z, which is right. True false says, see, this is already wrong. Okay, well that narrows things down a bit. Generated code after creating template func variants. Whatever that thing is needs to be edited.
The computer's
Okay.
hooked into over 1,000 data banks throughout the world.
Yo, Richard, thanks for the follow, man. We're at 225 followers. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Are there phases that we could print out in this thing, or not really? It's kind of just like one big pass, huh? You know what we could do is we could could it have to do with this method that I wrote, this generate Boolean template instantiations things? Maybe this like varies or something like that. Let's just like print out this args list thing. Well, let's say for I in range args list. Well, yeah, why not? We'll do format.printf, print line, pretty print expers. Oh, I guess I can just say pretty print expers and then args list of I ... I wonder if things are actually going wrong in this guy, this monomorphized template guy, because this is the thing that everyone cautioned me against. They're like, don't write this because it's going to be confusing. So maybe we should print before and after there as well. So about to overflow out of a byte, yeah. We've got so pretty print decals new func. Okay, let's run this. Man, it's so weird that it's non-deterministic. It has to do with map. It's got to do with this map iteration order thing, right? I feel like that's the only plausible explanation. No, not 255, 225. I'm not up to 255 yet. That would be way cooler. We'll have to have a byte celebration. Syph, what's up? How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, soon. So here are the different, I mean, ultimately we're looking at each of these Boolean argument pairs, and then we're trying to generate variants of this B function for each pair of input Boolean arguments. Next Primogen without the cocaine. I don't know about that. Variety stream at 255 followers. I want to do a, yeah. Well, my dream would be to get good at Kaizo Mario and stream that, but I don't know if that dream will ever really come true. We'll have to see. I also am terrible at streaming video games. It's hard for me to talk while playing video games, and I'm also very bad at video games, so I don't think it's that interesting to watch. But check this out, right? It's like you got true, so Y and Z both true. I tried to print like make these such that, you know, it's gonna say Y if the first argument is true and not Y if the first argument is second. But these things are like out of order, like compared to this one. So I sort of feel like something's getting a little bit messed up there somehow. Somehow. Are we looking up into a map somehow? Don't know. Fold conditionals. What if we print it out here too? Okay, so how about this? We're just going wild with prints because I think it's the only way to do it. So we'll do after monomorphization here. We're gonna print out n. So n at this point is just any old node. I mean, I happen to know that it's definitely going to be a func-decal. I mean, honestly, I should just make this thing into a func-decal argument, I feel like. Right?
The computer's hooked into over 1,000 data banks
I'm not
throughout
sure.
the world.
Yo, Valdene, thanks for the follow. I'll just cast this to a func-decal. And then make this thing work only with func-decals, because I think it'll just make things a little bit more straightforward. I guess it's not a pointer though, right? No, I think it is a pointer. Okay, so we got that. I think this now has to be dot func-decal. Like this. Okay, so we're gonna print out the result after just the monomorphization phase before the fold conditional phase. And then I guess we want to print out folded. And this also, I see. I guess ideally, yeah, this could apply on any kind of node, not just a func-decal. So I'll leave this one. See, I don't understand why this is actually compiling, right? Because a dst.node isn't necessarily a dst.decal. I don't get that. That's okay. I think I'll just, again, clone this to a func-decal, or cast it to a func-decal. So, oh, it's because I was passing n, not folded. All right. So we'll say after folding, and then maybe this will help us figure out what is going wrong a little bit better. The casting in Go is rough. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's just working with this AST library is horrible. What do you mean by it's rough? I don't know if I've had that many problems with it. Okay, so after folding, Okay, so let's see. This is like impossible to read, honestly, but I think the idea is that in this case, we go down this path because we've replaced y and z with true and true. In this case, we go down this path because we've replaced y and z with false and true. So that kind of lines up. In this case, we go down true and false. So true and false, so it should sit. See, this is now, I think, wrong. Oh, no, it's not wrong. If true, I think we would go down this path, right? Because we say if true, this thing, if false, or if true, this branch, if false, this, no, come back. We go down this branch, right? Y not Z. And that's what gets printed out, Y not Z. And that's gonna be true, comma, false. So that actually seems correct to me. As a Fazza, what's up? Does anyone have any other recommendations for programming streamers? I love watching these and learning from them. I think there's a lot of really good programming streamers. I really like, let's see, who's a good one to recommend? I think that if you go to my host list, I have the people that I recommend. I don't know if CS Lectures is still in here. I've liked watching CS Lectures, although that's less of a programming thing and kind of more of a lecturing thing. Jason J. Phillips is a friend of mine who does programming streams. How do I print out my host list for people, you know? That's like really what I would want to do. I don't know how to do that. I don't really know how to do that. I'm going to work on that. But check out my host list if you can do that, and then maybe it'll tell you. Nice keyboard, thanks. Stupak 62. So yeah, you know, I'm a little bit confused as to why this one failed, because it was sort of looking correct. Let's run it one more time here. Someone freestyle yet? No, nobody freestyle. I tried to bait Andy Pavlo, and he didn't respond or like it. He didn't do anything. Yeah, I need an exclamation point host, exactly. Maybe I'll do that before next stream. So I got false, true. I got true, false, but I expected false, true. Why did that happen? Holy pandas, dude. Nice. I hear those are great. I got this from Mech Market, or most of it anyway. I got the I didn't build it myself. I got the, you know, keyboard part from Mech Market and the switches the caps from somebody else, and I put them together. I don't know. I'm not like an elite build it yourself keyboard person, but I do like the keyboards, you know. I think here's the problem. For whatever reason, the order that we have up here, so true, true, would mean that these two things are replaced with true, true.
Computers
and here
hooked
it's
into
supposed
over
to be
1,000 data banks
false,
throughout the
true,
world.
and yet we see true, false. Stupak, thanks for the follow, man. You've been trying to redirect your donations to programmers? That's awesome. I think all those programmers really appreciate you. I certainly do, Lithium. So why is that, though, right? If we jump back into the code, we have a map from formal param name to argument. That seems fine because our input arguments, I guess let's print one more thing out. So we'll say print line monomorphizing with arguments, and then I can say pretty print expers are ... Okay, let's run with that. I think that'll help hopefully clear things up a little bit. It's like gonna take a sip of water, but then it finished too quickly. All right. All right, so this is good output. This is useful output. Monomorphizing with arguments true, true. I should see true, true like this. Monomorphizing with arguments false, true. Oh, do I just have them out of order in my head? Is that the issue? What does the actual test file look like? No, the actual test file is in order. So there is something funky going on here for sure. Like Y should be up here and Z should be here. And that's kind of what we're doing, what we're all about. So perhaps the order of the arguments got flipped. You were gonna buy an iris to build, then I bought like 3 keycap sets. Yeah, it's like a really dangerous hobby, isn't it, Stupak? It's like the easiest way to waste an infinite amount of money is kind of how I feel about this keyboard stuff. So this args list thing, right? Extract instantiations from comments. No, that's not right. I think we're supposed to fall into this case. If we have no explicit instantiations, fall back to making all combinations of booleans for boolean templates. That is what we do. Oh, wait a minute. So it's not the order of these things that I care about. What I care about is actually the order of the formal parameters. That's probably what's going wonky. So I suppose that's got to exist in
Computers hooked into over 1,000 data banks throughout the world.
Info. Template param info. Hey, state space signal, thank you so much for the follow.
Computers hooked into over 1,000
and Rand
data
MC,
banks
thank you for the
throughout
follow. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna print out, besides just these actual arguments, we're also gonna print out the order of the formal parameters. And I'm suspecting that the formal parameter arguments are flipped somehow. And formal parameters. So we can print these out as info dot template params, right? Yeah, that's where we do this. We're making a map for each thing in template params. We're saying that the field with name X is equal to the parameter at argument I in the same order that the template params were passed in. I'm gonna say that this is probably busted somehow. So what we want to do, I guess we can do it way up here. So we'll grab this print, put it way up at the top of this.
Data banks.
Hey, Joda PE Lambda, thank you for the follow. I feel like there's a lot of good sort of nerdy follower names right now, like Joda PE Lambda. That's you got some functional programming references in there. You got your state space signal. That's also kind of, you know, CS-y. I like it. So what if I print out just each of these things as I see them? So saw formal parameter, and I'm going to print out p dot field. I can just capture this little thing into a, oops, come back. And capture this little thing into a variable field name. Field name and I. So I'm guessing that these are going to somehow get flopped in a way that's abnormal. So okay, so here's the output that we were expecting. I think this is going to help us figure out what's going on. We see monomorphizing with arguments true, true. Z is at 0 and Y is at 1, and that's wrong, right? So the whole point is that Y comes first and Z comes second. So somehow this is getting flopped. Okay, so we have the root cause in a way. Well, we have like the proximal cause, and now we've just got to figure out how the heck, who's populating this and when, and why is it getting populated wrong? Looks like it's getting populated here. And the order is we're ranging through template vars. And template vars is a map, you guys. Okay, so there's the issue. Wait, but it should be fine because the whole point is that, look, it's a map from the template variable name to the position within the list. So theoretically, we were supposed to be preserving that. Did we just manage to not preserve it? Is that the issue? Yeah, the issue is that we just append it. Okay, so type.params. This is massively confusing, I have to say. So so template vars is this map from template variable formal parameter name to position within the list. So I guess I should say formal param idx, right? That's the thing that we're not using. But I think the idea is that this I, we were expecting that this I, which is the position of the, oh, so this I is actually subtly different. This is the ordinal within the original, how do I say it? The original formal parameter list before we like transform it into the version without the template parameters. So it's like pre-extracting of the template parameters. It's that ordinal. So for example, I think in this case, this would be index 1 and this would be index 2 and this would be index 0. But what we want is like, we want this to be 0 and this to be 1. And that's what was supposed to be included in this formal parameter idx thing. Okay, so let's see. I guess one question is also, how did I break this? Because this used to work all right. And I guess this is what create template func variants is the name of the thing that I changed. It doesn't really seem like I significantly changed that in that commit. Maybe the one before. No, same thing there. Oh wait, I didn't run the right thing. So I did change this quite a bit. I did change this quite a bit. I changed this. I really quite a bit changes. So I guess we can just I mean, realistically, I still don't get it though, because we still do it in order. We still do it in order of the original type parameter, or the original formal parameter list order, which is the same, right? Like if this was z bool, y bool, yeah, I could see that being screwed up. And honestly, maybe that's like something that we should care about fixing, but it isn't. So what's the deal with that? I guess what we could do is print out. We could just print out when we're adding these template param info things. We could say adding template param info, and we'll say f dot names of 0 dot name. And then also this field ordinal thing, I guess. Not that this is really that important, but just for the purposes of checking, let's do that. Rerun the tests and try to figure out what was going wrong with that, I guess. So let's see. Let's make sure that this is wrong. So this is where we see formal parameters z0 and y1, which is the opposite of the right order. Yeah, and we see this out of order too. So how about that? Why? That's so weird. How could it be out of order? I don't really get that at all. So JSONB, yeah, Cockroach does support JSONB. I think there's decent support for it. There's a couple of things that's missing. Ooh, but GIS, we're adding GIS, my friend. It's coming. It's coming. It's not there yet, but it's coming. Do you need that for your application? It's good to know. That's gonna happen. Okay, so the question though is, why is this out of order? List is not, I mean, it's absolutely a list. What? I'm actually completely clueless as to how this could be happening. Unless it's something about the fact that we call B from different spots later. Could that have to do with it? See ya, Brohan. Thanks for hanging out. Put regions into their account. Have a great day. See ya. Esri's geomlib to compute a log of the GIS stuff. Oh, I get it. I get it. The problem is that this is actually super subtle and kind of lame. It's that we're iterating over the template vars as the first outer loop and the correctly ordered end.type.params list as the inner loop. That is the problem. Okay, so I think we can fix this pretty straightforward. I think what we'll do is we'll iterate through this instead, and we'll look up into this guy, and then we'll also keep a sort of a scene list, because one of the problems is that we have to detect. Hey, Alex Aku, thank you for the follow. We have to detect whether each of these template variables was seen, and if not, we have to throw an error. So that's actually, I think we can do that. All right, so let's make it happen. I'm gonna get rid of this. See a bunch of squiggly stuff. Why so squiggly? Let's come back because I'm a little lost. Oh, I see. We deleted a little few too many braces there. Okay, so for each of the things in our parameter list, we're going to look up into our param info thing, template var as it's called. So we'll say if f.names of 0.name, we'll say if template vars, I guess we could say template position, okay, is equal to this thing, okay. All right, then we can get rid of this guy, get rid of this guy. And I guess what we sort of need is a way of marking each of the things that we've seen. So how are we gonna do that? I guess we could just have a new map, a scene map. So we'll say scene template vars is equal to make map string, map string struct, and then we'll make it the same as the length of the template vars map. And then I think what we can do is say scene template vars of this thing. So we'll grab this template var name, place all the occurrences. Template var name. Okay, so now we've got this happening, and then what we can say is for I in range template vars, if okay is equal to scene template bars of name. Not okay. Then we blow up. All right. And this V is going to be name. We don't need most of these format arguments anymore. Okay, this track is, yeah, it's Guyvus. How did you know that? That's wild. I have no idea how you knew that. That's super crazy. Okay, cool. Get rid of this print. All right, so let's run these tests again. I think we probably, hopefully we'll have fixed it at this point. Okay, well, I think this is good progress. Some decent progress. Let's see if anybody's looked at my PR yet. Nobody's looked at it. That's okay. All right. Okay, we're in business. What about all of the rest of the tests? Do they work as well? Oh yeah, there's this count business. Okay, I'm feeling satisfied that we fixed that problem. So maybe it's now time to actually get to doing what we wanted to do in the first place this stream, which we haven't really started at all yet, which was going to be to add a multi-file method of doing templating. So let's see. I guess we kind of want to clean up this like crazy state that we've got going on here, though. Right? I mean, some of this output's actually pretty useful. So maybe I would want to just include it if that monomorphizing. If we have a verbose flag, maybe I could just thread that in. Where do we use that verbose flag? It's literally like a flag, right? Yeah, so I'll just pass that flag in, and then we can. This is going to be helpful debugging information at some point, I'm sure, just so I don't have to redo all of this stuff. So I'll say. Yeah, I should probably use a log library, honestly, but it just doesn't matter because it's just not runtime code. You know, this is just sort of this tool that we run just one time. So I don't think I really care. So I think in this one, I'm also going to pass in this verbose flag. And in the end, did I actually need to turn this into a func decal or not really? I feel like it can still be a dst.node, right? Oh, it's just about the pretty printing. Okay, I'll keep it as a func decal, just so we can do the pretty printing. I'm going to pass in a new verbose boolean. Then I'll say if verbose, we'll print this thing out. We don't need this one, I don't think. But we do want this one. This is just so you can sort of see the different phases of the compiler, essentially, if verbose. Because there are just a lot of phases. Okay. What else do we have in our diff that needs to be... Format.print is my logger? Yeah, exactly. Hell yeah. Oh, we also deleted a bunch of tests, though. Let's like undo that. So we'll say git diff. Yeah, we'll just do git checkout for to restore the whole thing. Let's actually run the test one more time then, because Yeah, we want to make sure that those other ones are still working. Okay, cool, man. All right. Let's commit all this stuff, right? Let's do. We'll just make a quick little execgen fix bug in monomorphizer. All right. So here's what's going to happen next. We need to invent a way to have a multi-file test case. Multi-file. And what I think what we'll do to make this happen, I guess we need to have, let's take our example, template and multi-file. Essentially, like this format isn't like quite smart enough to know about multiple files. So I think what I'll need to do is probably just make this thing split on package main or something like that. I think that'll work. So basically what I want to do is simulate having two files to read at the same time in my execgen thing, to make sure that templating works across both of them, because it currently doesn't. So I guess maybe I'll just have the test case automatically search for package main, something like that. I mean, that's quite simple. I think I'm okay with it. So really it's the same output that we expect as this other file. So let's grab that. Cool. So I think what we'll have to do is edit our test runner. Right, so before we even parse the input, so first split apart test case into multiple files. If there are any, we represent multiple files by including a second package statement in the test input. So basically we'll say, I mean, this is a little bit lame, but I think it's probably fine. We'll say d.input or we'll say strings.split d.input, then we'll just literally put package main. And I think what that's gonna do is probably give us something slightly wrong, which is like, it's gonna get rid of the places that we have written package main. It's sort of like what we want to do is find the, yeah, maybe we should just have a special marker. I think that would be simpler, just for this test. So maybe if I just put like, I don't know, what's a good looking marker? I guess we use this triple dash thing everywhere. Well, I think that's special sort of for the data-driven package. So what if I put like new file? Something like that. Is that sketchy enough for you? I mean, let's just go with this for now. All right, so we're gonna split on this gross looking thing. And yeah, we'll keep the new line. And then we'll say, right. I think I mean, this changes quite a lot about how this whole system works, to be honest, because the main place that we actually invoke execgen assumes that we have just a single file. And I think that, in fact, this whole DST business, it doesn't really have an abstraction for working with multiple files at a time at all. I think the best thing that you can do, right? Unless there's like a multi-file set thing. Parse dir, I mean, this is interesting. What does this give back? Parser uses parser.parser to parse a decorated directory containing Go source. And what does it give you back? It gives you a map of string to dst.package. And package is a list of imports and files and stuff. I mean, this seems probably like what we want, essentially, like just a map of strings to files. It sort of seems like what we need to do is split all the phases up into like find versus execute, in a sense. Like, I think for it's a little bit tricky. I think like as an example, this would be one of the input files, and we would want the program to run over. Oh, I guess it's not that tricky, right? It's like I thought that for a second we would have to actually write out the output of the result to the same file or something like that, but I forgot that we write it to a different spot, and you can just hold it into memory, stuff like that. So I don't think that that's actually too much of a problem. See ya, Richard. Thanks for stopping by. Make sure you stay in bounds. Stay in bounds, children. If you fall out of bounds, that's a terrible fate. Terrible fate. Okay. So in our, I guess we should practice with the inliner, because the inliner is just a lot simpler. What it does is it takes a file, it extracts the func decals that are supposed to be inline from the file. So this would be, it would take a list of files, extract those func decals, and then it would run over a list of files again and replace them. Most of what you do on Twitch is crack jokes. I think that's legit. What else is Twitch for but joking? I think that is what it's supposed to be. So I think this is going to be fine. I think really what we want to do is change all of these callers to take file lists. I don't think we need file maps really. We just need file lists. Gotta get some work done. Enjoy. Good luck with the work. Thank you so much for stopping by and for the gift subs, dude. I really appreciate it. I'll do my best to stay handsome. See you next time, man. All right, so I think we're gonna have a list of files. So we'll just pass in a list of dst.file, how about? And this is also gonna take that list. It's kind of just like a big refactor to have everything take lists instead of single files. And, well, maybe we wanna keep this the same and just have a wrapper, something like that. I think we want something to take this list, and then this is going to be the thing that, yeah, so it'll say for file in range files, and then I think here I'll have this guy invoke another extract inline func decals from files, something like that. Well, do I just want to keep the loop? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'll just do that. How about? So I'll just kind of keep this loop here. This is of course a list. All right, so that was pretty simple. And I guess the one thing that changes is that my my print file things are a little bit, I guess what I could do is I could change these to take the phase as the first argument and then a varargs list of files or something like that. That way I could keep compatibility with everybody. Let's do that. So I think we can do this with the little good old change signature. Just reorder these two definitions, and that's going to automatically reorder it everywhere. Then we can change this to be a varargs thing. Wait, the dots come first. That's something I always forget. And then I'll say, down here I'll say, let's see, decorator.fprint. I guess I'll need to do like for I in range files, This should be...
Everybody knows that relational databases
Yo,
don't
MD
scale
Layer, thank you
because
so
they
much
use
for
joins
the 2 months of subscription.
and write to disk.
Happy Friday to you too. And thanks for that Pride Rise emote. I'm really increasing my collection of these lovely Pride emotes as we speak. I like this Pride Heart L, Pride Heart R one a lot. You finally set up Streamlabs today. Need to check it out like you've got. Deck it out like I've got. Yeah, it's not so hard. I think it's a bunch of just like irritating, I don't know. You have to like find GIFs and stuff. I think it's a pretty fun thing to do, honestly. All right, so we're gonna look for each of our files. And I think we're literally just going to fprint them. I think we'll probably want to stick a new line in between though, right? So we'll say sb.write, and then just stick in a new line. I guess that takes a string. Wait, what? Oh, right. I literally just need to pass in write byte and not write. That would help matters. Oh yeah, we can get rid of this altogether. Okay. This we can change name to print files. And then the whole point is that we wanted to, over here, we can pass in files as var args, and then we'll be happy. Okay, cool. So inline func, this is now going to take, instead of just a single f, it's going to take a list of f's. I suppose we can just do the loop here. That would be a little bit easier. So for file and range files, we'll run our inliner. I need to put the range keyword. That's important. Programming. Okay. So then in our test, we can pass in, right. So the whole point was that we wanted to have our test harness be able to do multiple files. So what we'll need to do is split our test input on this like goofy file separator thing that I invented. So we'll say, call this file strings. And then I'll say files is equal to, well, let's see. I guess I'll say like asts is equal to make dst dot node comma len file strings. And then for I and range file strings, we can do this little dance. And we'll say asts of I comma error is equal to var error. All right, cool. This is working out. And then this is going to take asts instead of f. What's wrong with this though? Oh, I see. This really wants to be, it's not dst.node, it wants to be pointer to dst.file. Okay, cool. And then in the case of template, I guess we haven't quite done that yet. So we'll just say asts of 0 to get this to compile for the time being. And this is the ultimate output, which again, it doesn't really, wait, does this make sense as a thing to do? Yeah, I think it does. I think down here we want to have a loop as well. So it's the same loop that we just wrote in our other printer. Kind of looks like this. So for each of our ASTs, we're going to print one, separate them by a new line. Cool. All right, so then I think in my test case, in my multi-file test case, let's actually make this a lot simpler, not do any templating. Let's just do inlining for our multi-file test case. And it's gonna look just like if B return 1, else return 2, something like this, just to keep it super, super simple. And the point would just be that we want to see this second file. Yeah, I mean, like having the I'm not sure how this is gonna work, but in any case, I think it should be probably fine for this test anyway. So let's try it. I don't think this is gonna compile yet because I didn't fix some other stuff, but let's try it out. So go test package SQL call execgen. Right, so this is the main generator isn't like set up quite right. Since I made it work on multiple files, so I think here we'll just want to pass in a slice of dst.file, a slice literal that is, including the f that we were normally doing. And I think that should fix up matters. Okay, so looks like a bunch of stuff changed. So let's run just with that one test just to simplify things a little bit. I'm guessing that I did something a little bit wrong, but that's fine. So we'll pass in test execgen multi-file. So it's saying expected declaration found __ new. I guess that means that my test runner isn't properly extracting out that this whole thing, right? Wonder why though. Maybe I can't strings.split if it's got a new line in it. I mean, I think that should work fine, honestly. Oh, it's because I'm passing the entire d.input into the decorator, not the actual file strings. That was the entire point, right? So let's try that again. I guess I can use I, s here instead of just I. Okay, so let's use rewrite here to see what it gives us. And it looks like it gives us, I think this is working. So that was not that hard. I think the main thing that's a little bit weird is that, you know, the output doesn't have this like file marker thing. I guess we could keep that in there. Why not? Just to make it a little bit more obvious what's going on. I think like maybe that syntax could be improved just because it's a little gross to have this sitting around in here, but I don't know. I think it should be fine. So we'll put write string. I should probably make a constant for this thing, by the way. So this will be called the like new file sep or something. We can make it a const and pull it out here. And then down here we can say sb.write string new file sep. And realistically, I think we actually probably want to put another new line in the front of it because in both cases, we don't need this white space really, I don't think. I don't know. Let's try it again. So almost, except we have an extra one at the bottom because I guess we should just use strings.join instead of what we're doing right now. But we can't really, so I guess we can just say if I is less than line of ASTs -1, then do it. So we'll just skip doing it the last time. I think that should work. Cool. So let's look now. What do we have here? Okay, so that's working lovelily. Lovelily? I guess one small thing that's a little bit weird is that we normally expect the inline things to get removed. So how come that's not happening? I guess it's because, maybe it's because we do that removal. Where does that happen? I sort of forget. Yeah, it's supposed to happen over here, right? Oh, maybe the problem is that, like, basically... Yeah, I'm not, it's a little bit odd. I would expect that this one... So here's the issue, right? Like, if we look at our original inlining test case, the idea is that if you have a function b that's marked with execgen inline, and it gets inlined into these guys lexically, then the function gets replaced with a empty declaration. It's not strictly necessary, because we could just leave the function around, but it would be unused, it'd be a little gross. So we prefer to get rid of it, but for whatever reason, in this multi-file version, what's happening is that we do the replacement. Actually, no, something's actually going completely wrong. We're not even doing the replacement at all. We're just rewriting the files as they were originally. So I'm not really paying attention. That's no good. So I kind of think it has to do with the fact that, like, it's got to do with our test harness, I think. Originally what we had here was we would print out f, and we were expecting f to get destructively modified, right? And I think, I mean, that should be fine, because ASTs is this slice of pointers to AST, right? And I think if these f's are getting destructively modified, I do think that they should still be reflected in these dst.files, honestly. I suppose we could just print out the result after we run inline func. That could be good. Oh, and by the way, we really want this to be behind a verbose flag, so let's make that happen real quick, just so it's a little bit more uniform with the way everybody else does this. So we'll just add a verbose bool flag here. Maybe this would be the time to, like, introduce context or something like that, but I just don't think that it's worth it for this little thing. Pass in verbose here. Context for the win. Yeah, maybe. I think, like, yeah, I could turn this into a thing with, like, a logger and stuff like that. I just think it's a little heavyweight. Like, does the Go compiler itself have context? It probably does. They probably do use context in the Go compiler somewhere. All right, so we'll say if verbose here, we might as well just print out print files f inlined declarations. Then we'll run go test. We will stick -v, clear the screen. No output. Maybe it's because I didn't pass in. Yeah, I didn't pass this verbose thing in, so I'll just make this true. I should probably make this a test argument or something like that, so I can do it from the command line. That might be sort of nice. How come it's not? How come it's not printing out the things that I wanted it to print? It's a little weird. little bit weird. It's because I was using the wrong test declaration. So it actually makes sense that nothing was happening here. I was asking the templater to run, and this was an inline test case. Okay, let's try it again. This should do something, I'm hoping. Okay, this is a little bit more expected. We get an out of bounds error somewhere deep in the guts of something. Inline.go 147. Okay. So this is where we place return statements with assignments to the return values. Okay, so I think the idea here is that we're expecting that statement. So right, I think the idea here is that we're looking up into this inlineable function here, the ith return value, which happens to be an integer, and we're expecting to see something for it, I guess, something like that, and we don't see anything. So I'm not sure why that would be yet, but we can find out. So statement.results. What is this again? A return statement represents a return. Oh, maybe it's just that. I think I see. So it's like the 0 index here is actually like the 0th return value. Let's do something slightly simpler to just narrow it down. So B is true. Oh, if B doesn't make any sense. This is supposed to say if T. I wonder if that's sort of part of the issue. Probably not, but it's possible. Let's rerun that. I don't think that this compiler thing is smart enough to notice that that was a wrong variable assignment, so probably not that. All right, so let's just put a print here. So print line T is true, otherwise T is false. And then at the bottom, we'll just do return to see, just to see if it had to do with that return value thing, rather than the new multi-file inlining that I added. Okay, so that does appear to be the case. There was something funky with this early return. I'd like to debug that, but I'm not going to do it right now. So let's just run with the rewrite. I do like this unified diff output, by the way. It's really, really nice. It's a lot better than what we had before. Okay, so here's our new test case. We've got A here. We've got a new file that's got an inlineable function here. And then the original file is replaced with 2 calls to B, one with T being true and one with T being false, which is great. We do the return value stuff all as well. And then down here, we get an inline definition. Okay, so this is sort of the dream. This is sort of the dream. Now I guess we just need to do the same thing for templates, and then we will have a multi-file execgen, which I think will take us quite far. So let's make a commit for this. Why don't we? So we'll say git add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll say execgen permit multi-file inlining. This commit adds the capability. Well, it's sort of like the test only for now. Capability for execgen to inline definitions across more than one file. And it's test only because there's still no way to actually pass multiple template files into execgen, but I think we can fix that next. Right, like the issue is that I mean, there's still a couple of weird things. One is that like when you run execgen, you're actually passing in the name of the output file instead of the name of the input file, which is confusing. I think ideally what you'd want to do is probably pass in, yeah, like how do you exactly do this? You sort of want to pass in a set of input files maybe, and then a single output file. I don't know. It's like, it's a little bit tricky to think about how you would want it to. Maybe what you want to do is actually pass in a directory as the output or something like that. And so you could have it sort of do a batch compiling of all of these things at once. I don't know. It's hard to think about. Because I guess like another thing that you could consider doing is like right now I'm sort of having it work in the Unix philosophy way, which is that it, you know, it's actually going to write to standard out, and then somebody else is responsible for piping the output into a file. And so maybe one way to get around this would be to change the way that that works, and have it just write the output itself. You know, like write to the actual output path. I don't really know the best way to do that, or the sort of right thing to do here. And it's kind of important to figure this out before I go any further. Maybe I'll just keep working on this multi-file template thing, and then I'll be inspired halfway through, hopefully. So basically, expand templates will also need to take multiple files. And let's think about what each of these phases will do in turn. So create template struct variants. This thing can be single file in a sense. Like, it doesn't have to know about anything to do with multiple files, right? Because really what it's doing is producing copies of structs and copies of methods based on these types. Which sort of implies that it doesn't have to care about anything. It also says that it returns a map from struct type. It definitely does not do that, but I guess that's fine. I guess I'll just delete that comment. And so I guess in this case, we really just want to do a for loop. So for underscore file and range files. Guess I'll just keep this as F, since that was the convention. And then here's the thing where we have to be a little bit more careful. So, because this thing actually returns something called func_infos, which I think is a map. So I guess in this case, what we'll probably want is for template func variants to return a map for all of the files. Maps on maps. Yeah, exactly. So I think what we'll want is, I mean, it's really just, we just care about a single map here. I think it's just that this guy wants the responsibility of dealing with all the files. It's really just we put the loop in here. I don't know. I think this could be more elegant, but don't know if it really matters. So this is going to be called files. Oops, not that far. Also not that far. I like went down to way to the bottom of the file, assuming that loop that I was editing was there, but it's actually not. Okay, so this thing now takes a set of files and does some stuff with it, returning a map of the func_infos across all the files. Maybe this is going to be sort of straightforward. Maybe it's not as bad as I was fearing. So I guess in this case we would pass in files ... since we made that thing var args. And then this last one, replace template call sites, finds all call experts in the input AST that are calling the function that it annotated, I think this is also straightforward. Honestly, like maybe this isn't that bad. Maybe it's like, maybe it's just going to be sort of easy. This one we're going to do a for loop outside because there's no point, that inner guy doesn't need to care that there's multiple files at all. And then is that all there is to it? It seems a little shocking. I think what I'll do is I'll also make a flag for this test case. I forget what that, whoops. Go test, add flag. Forget how to do that. Is it just literally the flag package like everything else? Or you have to do something special? Maybe it's just you can just do it right up here. So var verbose flag is equal to flag dot or equals flag dot bool var, and then I can say var verbose bool, pass in the address of verbose, and I guess this has to happen in init or something, right? It's not how that works. Oh, do I not have to save it? Do I just run it or something like that? So like flag.boolvar verbose. The name would just be verbose. The value is just like the initial value is false. The usage is what's like a well-formed usage message for that or something? It's like disable. I see. So it's like print verbose info when generating code, something like that. Flags and tests are odd. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's just really just for me debugging the tests. I don't think anybody else needs to use it or care. It's just like when you run these tests, there's like so many compiler phases and stuff like that I want to make sure that there's a way for me to easily print those results out intermediately rather than having to like add this verbose true false thing all over the place, which is kind of, I don't know. You have to recompile every time and stuff like that. So now I think if I run go test, then I pass in verbose, I think it'll just print out a bunch of extra stuff. No? Oh, well, this is just stuff I haven't fixed yet, but right, so here, yeah, here's where I still haven't really figured out how to deal with the fact that I want to pass in multiple files yet, but I can fake it like so. And then if I run this again, I think I'll get something good. Is it namespace under the test flags? I don't know. I mean, it did work. I don't know how it works. It's like magic. So I mean, this is nice. This is sort of what I wanted. So I think I'm happy with it. I think I had... I mean, I have like another... I have a flag in like the main for execgen that does the same thing. But it's using some other, like, I don't know what this is exactly, a flag set, I don't know. This is like set up elsewhere, so I don't think it's like the same flag or anything. I don't think it would work for me to reference this thing in the test. Actually, it might. Well, no, I don't have access to this execgen tool struct. Yeah, live near LaGuardia. I don't really live that near LaGuardia, but I guess there was something outside my window. You probably heard that better than I did because I have these big headphones on. I hear like my own voice well because I have like, what do you call it? Like loop back through my microphone thing, but the outside noise is sort of hard to hear for me. Okay, so let's see. I guess what we want to do is quickly add a multi-file test for templating too, just to make sure that that all works in a good way. So let's quickly make that happen. So we'll stick this janky looking new file thing here. We'll say package main, and then we'll see if this actually works across files, which would be pretty cool, I think. So let's rerun this little guy. Do I run monitor? Too distracting. Open back headphones. Yeah, I want to get an open back pair. It would be distracting if the monitor wasn't built into my microphone. If it was like software, yeah, it would be way too laggy. But the microphone has like 0 latency monitoring, which I find pretty decent. Yeah, I want to get a pair. That's like kind of the pair that I have my eye on, actually. Okay, so in my multi-file test case, what do I have? Yeah, this is basically looking good. And okay. 220 right now? Yeah, exactly. That's like what's up with this like mass drop stuff, honestly? I don't get it. Like everybody's looking to this HD6XX drop thing. It feels like sketchy, but I don't have like a strong reason for believing that it's sketchy. It just like I don't exactly understand like why there's this reselling component. Yeah, mass drop is, I mean, I've bought stuff from them before. I just don't quite exactly. Yeah, right. It's just like something weird is going on there. Okay, cool. So I think if I commit this stuff, we're gonna have a good looking commit. Execgen permit multi-file templates. This commit adds capabilities. Well, again, test only. Capabilities for execgen to produce and consume templates across multiple files. Oh, I think I need to add this test case too. Ooh, that's kind of annoying. Now I've got, well, I'll just maybe just squash those last 2 commits together. So we'll say permit multi-file inlining and templating. Inline and template definitions across more than one file. All right. So here's the thing though. At this point, like we're sort of in a bit of a no man's land without the ability to run execgen on more than one template. And that's sort of bound up into the fact that the way that we invoke this thing is awkward. Need to figure out how to deal with that next. I think that like just taking inspiration from the Go tools that do the same thing. I mean, basically what they do is that they, like, what does gotool compile do? Gotool compile only outputs a single thing, so it doesn't really have this problem, right? It's like, I think what this does is it produces a call exec.a or .o output or something like that. No, what does it do? Is it the thing making these .o outputs? Let's see, if I remove this one and I rerun this gotool compile invocation, do I get, yes, okay, so I guess, interesting. So I guess what this does, it's actually quite straightforward, is it for every file that you pass into it, it produces a .o output. So I suppose that's like a pretty decent way for me to make this whole thing work. The only issue is that like some of these templates, they like to produce multiple output files because the output files are just so big. So let's look at an example of that one. I feel like that's like kind of an odd special case that maybe we could just get rid of. So I think an example is this proj template thing. No, wait, there's separate ones for this one. So proj constant, proj non-const. What's a good example of something that gets multiple outputs for a single input? I guess this merge joiner one. This merge joiner one's like kind of out of control. Merge join base. Yeah, so this one registers multiple generators, which means that for this particular big template, merge joiner template.go, it's actually going to be producing multiple output files. I wonder if that's something that we could just get rid of, honestly, because it's just unfortunate. And I think the reason that it does that is fundamentally that we've been really militant about combining. It's not really militant's the right word, but like in the old way that we were doing this templating with text template, there was only one thing that you could do, which was inline and template at the same time. There was no way to just half type template and half inline, or there was, but it was just sort of more of a pain. So what everybody ended up doing is just aggressively inlining everything, even though it wasn't even really necessary at certain moments. And I think that if we got rid of that, a lot of this duplication would be reduced, the file sizes would go down, and I think that would kind of be helpful. Because like, yeah. I think that the whole point of this, like the reason that we care about inlining here in the first place is just for performance, but performance only really matters once you get into the inner loop of this thing. That's, hey, MD Layer, thanks for stopping by for a bit. No worries. You have a great weekend too. Yes, I will absolutely stop by your stream. If anybody's watching and you're looking for something to do tomorrow, hop into this man's stream. He's got a good Golang programming stream. Check him out. I need this SO command. I gotta set that up. Gotta remember to do that. This is like the thing that everybody does, and it's gonna put a link to, you know, your Twitch. Anyway, I'll do that next time. But yeah, anyway, thanks for stopping by and thanks for the resub. I'll see you another time. But yeah, you know, like this stuff, it just doesn't need to get inlined until you get way down into the guts of this thing, in a sense, which I think is probably down here somewhere. So I think yeah, once let's see, the order of operations here is sort of difficult. Like we really need to figure out a way to remove everybody's dependence on text template first before we can figure out a way to reduce or like make it possible for this file to output just a single output file, in a sense. Otherwise it'll just be too large. So yeah, I don't know quite how to move forward on that. I guess, like, let's see. So one thing I really did want to combine this with at some point was the fact that earlier we had this other branch that's going on called this go call slice thing here. And if we look at go call slice, what it does is it changes all of the representations of the columns that we're operating over to be a like a named type, so we can define methods on it. And sort of what I was thinking is that if the Go inliner was giving us trouble and not like aggressively inlining enough the methods on these named types, we could get around that by using execgen to lexically inline those method bodies. And that was going to be my first use case for this cross-file inliner. But I just don't know if that really makes sense because it's in a different package, you know, so it's like a little bit awkward. I suppose there's no reason that we couldn't do cross-package inlining because we don't care about packages. It's just like literal lexical inlining, but it is a little bit odd, and it would definitely change something because so you wouldn't actually want to output anything from that other file, right? That file would want to sort of stay the same, and you'd really want to be passing it in as like an auxiliary, like helper function or something. And like, so maybe it's really what it is, like the first argument is the thing that we're going to use as a thing that we're going to output at the end. You know, we're going to edit and output that first argument. And the second argument is just used to pull out template and function definitions for inlining, something like that. Maybe that's kind of the ticket. So we'll still run once per file, but we'll be able to sort of pass in, we'll sort of be able to pass in sort of auxiliary helper things. Okay, that should be actually fairly straightforward. So let's make that happen in our tool. I think this will be the best way to go forward. So, so execgen.generate right now, it just takes in a single file. And I think what we'll want to probably do is pass in a slice of, yeah, we'll probably just want to pass in a slice of file contents, right? So maybe like a first one and like an everything else one or something like that. And the everything else will sort of be the auxiliary files. I don't know. It's a little weird, but I think it's all right. So how do we get this input file? The input file comes from an explicit, it's like where we actually register it. So I guess we would have to change this register generator thing to take in a list. Yeah, that's not so bad, I guess. So const template, it would really be like, yeah, so this would be, it would be sort of input file and like, I don't know, other input files or something like that. I don't like that much. It just feels so manual.
Data banks.
Hey, Tech Writer, thank you for the follow. I wonder if I know this person. I kind of have a feeling I do know this person, but not too positive. Hope you're having a good Friday, Tech Writer. Yeah, I'm a little bit stuck on this, to be honest, because I don't like the fact that it's so bound up in the implementation of this tool. You know, I think ideally you would be able to pass in all the input files on the command line and not have to sort of force people who are writing this whole like .gen file business. It's just like, it's a little bit unaesthetic to my ears. I think what we would really want to do is have sort of like a prototypical example here and use that as a way to try this out. But the truth is that I don't have that. And the reason for that is that I'm still experimenting with these per type explicit slice types in that other branch that I was trying to talk about earlier. So, you know, I feel like I'm a little bit out of order. I'm a little bit out of order, a little bit confused. So maybe what I'll do is just leave this particular commit as it is and come back to this another time. I think I honestly might do that. I think the real trouble is that I've got to figure out the deal with the like performance implications of this other commit. I think that's like kind of my top priority right now. Because if I did manage to prove that the performance of this thing was reasonably good, that I wouldn't actually have to do a lot of this I don't know, what do you call it? Like leaping through hurdles. A lot of this hurdling wouldn't have to be done, something like that. I don't know. Essentially what I'm talking about, what am I even talking about, right? What I'm talking about is that this commit here, that where we add these explicit types. The idea is that in many places in the code, for example, I'll just show a quick example here. In many places in the code, my example is going slowly because when I switch branches, my IDE gets a little bit slow and unhappy. Typical. problems. Come on, little buddy. Okay. So an example is in distinct in 16 op, when we actually reach into the column that we're operating on down here, we explicitly index into the column at a particular spot, like as you would in a normal Go slice. And we do this because it's efficient. You know, that's just how you do it. It's how you index into anything, right? But there's some columns that you can't index into them with slice notation because they're not ordinary Go slices. We've made a couple of them like that. The bytes vector in particular is a special non-ordinary slice type for efficiency. And so in order to get something from there, you have to use a method called .get check IDX like this. It doesn't work for this one, but it does for the bytes type. And we had quite a bit of complexity in the template engine to handle this fact. But if I could prove that it was just as efficient to trust the Go inliner to inline this call, because, you know, the actual body of this call for an ordinary slice type is literally just this. If I could prove that that was efficient, then I wouldn't really have to do a lot of this nonsense. And the templating would really come more down to the kind of operator overloads and stuff like that. So yeah, I sort of don't want to move too much forward on the multi-file thing in like the real use cases, right? I'm happy we did it for the test, but for the real use cases, sort of want to wait on the .get to go in. And I guess the state of that thing, I don't know. I have a PR out for that over here, actually. So what we looked at the beginning of the stream, just to show that the generated code looks, you can see what's going on with the generated code changes. But the thing is that the actual thing that we would want to do after this first commit gets merged, I think is in this branch. It's this commit over here. I've called it get for real, which is a horrible name, but what it does is I mean, this is what the change to the templater is just this. Instead of running either .get or slice, depending on the type, we always run .get. And I want to just like get this thing in. And I feel like if I do, that'll kind of change the game a little bit. So I think I'll do that next time. But I think, to be honest, at the moment, I'm kind of running out of steam. So I think I'm going to call it. But thanks everyone for hanging out. It's been a lot of fun. I think we made a decent amount of progress. We got the multi-file templating thing done. We got the data-driven thing done. And I'm feeling pretty good about it. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy your weekend as well. I think it'll be a nice one. I'll probably stream again on Sunday. So if you are around on Sunday, please stop by, say hello. I'll probably do it in the afternoon. But I'll post on Twitter about that. So you can, you'll find out when I figure out what that time is going to be. But in the meantime, I think let's try to raid somebody. Hopefully somebody else is programming on the internet. No doubt somebody is. So we can figure out who that is and send them a little raid. Let's see. Who is? It's a couple people. What if we? I guess we could send this person a raid again. I liked raiding this person, so let's do that actually. So we're gonna raid Cyber Barbie. Big fan of her. But go say hello. Be nice. And make it happen. Thanks again for stopping by. I'll see you on Sunday if you're gonna be here. If not, I'll see you next week. And thanks for watching. Bye-bye.